Pau Gasol is better than Carmelo Anthony. That's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard in my life. What's going on, guys? It's Steve. Max Kellerman. By the way, you guys can thank Michael C3 for this part of the video. I'm going to segue into something else in a little bit, but thanks to Michael C3 for letting me know about this, because I don't really watch First Take. But how dare you, Max Kellerman? Max Kellerman sat up there on ESPN First Take with a straight face and said Pau Gasol was better than Carmelo Anthony in his prime. Last time I checked, Pau Gasol was never in MVP considerations or even top 3 or even got a number 1 spot vote. Last time I checked, Pau Gasol wasn't putting the locks up on LeBron and Kevin Durant. Last time I checked, Pau Gasol doesn't have a 13-3 record against Kevin Durant. That may be slightly off, like Melo does. Last time I checked, Pau Gasol doesn't have a 12-15 record against LeBron like Carmelo does, which, by the way, is the highest of all time for any other NBA superstar, so that means a lot. Thank you. But anyway, how do you sit there and say Pau Gasol is better than Carmelo Anthony? That's the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard in my life. That was almost as disrespectful as them saying that Stephen Curry, at this point in his career, and this was like 2015 when he won his first MVP, when they said Stephen Curry was better than Isaiah Thomas. That's disrespectful. He may be when he retires, because he has 2 MVPs, a championship, and he may win more championships, not MVPs. But he's not better than Isaiah Thomas at this moment. So to the main topic. So thank you, Michael C3, for bringing that to my attention. Now to the main topic of this video. Should Carmelo Anthony ask for a trade? Here's the thing. Carmelo Anthony is in a situation where no matter what he does, he gets hate. And this comes with territory when you're an NBA superstar to the level of him, because he's so high. There are other superstars, but when you have your own sneakers, you play in the Mecca, and you have the big spotlight on you for your entire career, there's a difference. There's different levels of superstars. And Carmelo Anthony was fortunate enough and unfortunate enough to be the highest tier of superstar. Meaning, not in terms of skill. Well, I mean, he is. But in terms of fan base, media attention, and things like that, he was up there with Michael Jordan, Larry, Magic, LeBron, D-Wade, Kobe, T-Mac, Dwight, Timmy, Dirk. The list can go on. Shaq, AI. He was up there with them. But this is the thing. It hurt him because he had so much attention that no matter what he did, everyone hates on him. He declared a trade to leave Denver to go to New York. Only New Yorkers considered him a hero. Everyone else hated on him because he put Denver in a crappy situation. He decides to re-sign with New York in 2014 for a max contract with a no-trade clause. People get mad at him because he didn't go to Chicago to win an NBA championship. Now, I understand why, because people care. People know he's an all-time great, and people know that an all-time great to the level of him needs to have an NBA championship. He deserves to have one. Everyone knows that. Everyone understands that. So, in a sense, they're looking out for him. But in a sense, you have to realize, like, he's being loyal to New York. But back to the topic. Should Carmelo Anthony ask for a trade? No. He shouldn't. This is the thing. Right now, Carmelo Anthony has the best team he's ever had around him. It may not look like it after last night, but he does. Derrick Rose, Courtney Lee, Joakim Noah, Kristaps Porzingis, Justin Holiday, Kyle O'Quinn, the Big KO, Kuzminskis, Billy Hernan-Gomez, and Lance Thomas. And Sasha Vujacic. So he has the best team he's ever had around him. But here's the thing. If he does ask for a trade, where would he go? The only other possible place he can go to win a championship, because no matter, right now, he's in the best contentions right now to win a championship. If he goes to any other team besides Golden State or Cleveland, his chances worsen. You know? So if Melo decides to go to Cleveland and says, hey, Phil, I can't take this anymore. 3 years of your BS. Trade me. Trade me to Cleveland. You can get Kevin Love. I'm going to go play with my man Bron. That's possible. It's definitely possible. But if it were to happen, it's not going to happen this year. The reason why I say, and if it did, I'd be shocked. But the reason why I say that is because it all depends on what Chris Paul does. Chris Paul, LeBron, and Melo, D-Wade, Bosh, they all want to play together. But if Chris Paul decides to re-sign with Los Angeles, I guarantee you Melo's staying in New York. But if Chris Paul somehow finds a way to get to Cleveland, if they have to trade Kyrie or do something to Kyrie, and Chris Paul goes there, you already know who else is going there. I doubt that's going to happen, Chances of that happening are like close to 0%, probably like 1 to 2%, but that's so him asking for a trade, where else could he go besides Cleveland for Kevin Love, and Tristan Thompson, or maybe Kevin Love and Channing Frye, or maybe Kevin Love and who's that other dude, Liggins, that guy that started last night that, I don't want to talk about last night, forget about last night before I start getting mad, but, so there's that, or he can try to get to Golden State, which is probably not going to work with Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry because Carmelo Anthony is not a running gun type player anymore at this point in his career. He's a half-court set player just like Kobe was after, his athleticism declined. So in terms of Melo asking for a trade, I don't think he should, and I don't think he will. Hopefully he doesn't, because Carmelo Anthony is the best Knick we've ever had. He's the best New York Knick we've ever had. We also have Bernard King and Patrick Ewing up there. Those are the 3 best Knicks we've ever had. Bernard King couldn't get it done. Well, Clyde Frazier did, by the way. Salute to you. Bernard King couldn't get it done. Patrick Ewing couldn't get it done because he missed a wide open layup. I wasn't born yet, but I know my history. He missed a wide open layup. I don't know how he missed that. Wide open, right-handed layup. It was a finger roll. You're 7 foot and you miss it. I don't know how that's possible, but things happen. That just shows you we have bad luck. Patrick Ewing goes, when we sign this Houston dude to a $100+ million contract, we're screwed for 10 years. David Lee, Chris Duhon, who else? Wilson Chandler, who I liked. Al Harrington, who I liked. David Lee I liked as well. Nate Robinson, Eddie Curry. Played that bum a whole bunch of money. He didn't do nothing but sit on the bench with injuries. Same thing with Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire came. And it's a blessing, though, in disguise. Because if Amari Stoudemire didn't come, Melo probably wouldn't have come to New York. Because at that point in time, 2010, 2011, Amari Stoudemire was still one of the best players in the world before the injuries started to happen. And then it was just all Carmelo. And then he went to Miami, and he finally retired last summer. So, Melo's the best Knick that we've had in a while. And possibly the best Knick ever. Him, Patrick Ewing, and Bernard King. 3 best Knicks ever. None of them could get it done. Melo still has at least 4 to 5 years left. Hopefully he can get it done. He has a good chance to. With Kristaps Porzingis. With Derrick Rose. And who knows? If Chris Paul decides to come to the New York Knicks. Think about that. Do you guys think that could be a championship contender? If Chris Paul decided to come to the New York Knicks. Chris Paul, Carmelo, and Porzingis. And we get rid of Derrick Rose because Derrick Rose only has that 1-year contract. So if we get rid of him and we get Chris Paul in the offseason to play with Carmelo, I think that's a competing team right there. Personally, I think that. So who knows, man? Anything could happen. I'm hopeful that Chris Paul can come to the New York Knicks in the offseason. The chances of it happening, again, it all depends because if you look at it now, the Los Angeles Clippers are doing pretty good, but you also have to look at who they have to go up against in the Western Conference Finals. Would you rather go up against the Golden State Warriors, or would you rather go up against the Cleveland Cavaliers? That seems like an obvious question. I'd rather go up against the Warriors, but at the same time, if you go in the East, LeBron has less time than Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry does. So if you stay in the West, your chances are even lower because the amount of time it's going to take before they decline, you're probably going to be gone by then. But by the time LeBron declines, because remember, Chris Paul came in the league in 2005. LeBron came in the league in 2003, so that's a 2-year gap. So if LeBron declines, Chris Paul, and maybe even if Melo's out of his prime by then, he's only averaging like 20, okay. But you have Kristaps in his prime averaging 25 to 28 maybe even more, who knows. And you have Chris Paul, close to his out of prime state, but still averaging around 18 and 10, who knows. It could work out. So his best chances would be to come to the New York Knicks. And, to me, it's like a blessing in disguise. Because think about it. Think about these set of events. We get Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, and Courtney Lee, and a whole bunch of other role players. We lose our hype man in Derrick Williams, who I really did like. Who, by the way, Melo, what he did to him in Miami the other day. But we lost Derrick Williams, but we kept KO. I love KO. A lot of Knicks fans didn't like him at first. You know, I always supported him. I defended him because I saw the potential. He worked on it in the offseason, and look at him now. He's one of the best role players in the NBA at this moment. You know, not in terms of, oh, he's a Jamal Crawford 6th Man of the Year. What I mean is he plays his role as just as good as anyone else can. So that's good. We signed Derrick Rose to a 1-year contract. That could be a blessing in disguise. Because if the Knicks make the playoffs and let's say they go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and and Phil Jackson says, wait, don't re-sign D Rose yet. Let's wait. See what Chris Paul does, and if he doesn't come here, we'll re-sign Derrick Rose. So if Chris Paul decides to sign with us, bye-bye D Rose. And now we'll have Chris Paul and Carmelo, both, they're still in their prime, but Melo's, has around 2-3 years left in his prime, whereas LeBron has like 3, 4, maybe 5 at most. But Melo still has 3 years after his prime, hopefully, that he can still be putting up 20. But anyway, so Melo, Chris Paul, and Porzingis is only getting better and better. He's still inconsistent. He's still the second best player on the team, but he's still getting better and better. So it's an exciting thing, to see. It's very exciting, and hopefully, the New York Knicks, we can get Chris Paul, because if we get Chris Paul, I think we'll be contenders. I don't think we'll win a championship, but we'll at least be contenders. And who knows? Maybe we get some better role players. And who knows? If Porzingis takes this next leap and becomes a top 5, top 10 player in the world by then, and he's averaging 25, 28 points per game, and you have Melo averaging 20 to 25, and Chris Paul with 18 and 10, who knows? Anything can happen. So that's going to be exciting to see the future of the New York Knicks, because it all depends on what Chris Paul does and how much Kristaps can develop. Because Melo's still here. He just needs the help. Hopefully we can get Chris Paul, man. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section below. It's Mr. Steve. I'm out. Peace.